trash, gotta go downstairs, gotta have some food, gotta have some dinner. I ain't rushing, the time is going, taking on and on, everybody's rushing. Gotta get down to the station, gotta catch the train. I see some nerds, it's better than Star Trek, sneaking on some Daleks, whipping out screwdrivers, 1, 2, 3, Alonzi. It's Monday, Doctor Who on Monday, everybody's looking.
Hey there, Whovians. This is the Artsy Image, giving you my rundown of New York Doctor Who LineCon 2011. Throughout the whole event, I was taking pictures, and I'm sure everyone who was actually in that line likely saw me at least once. So I'm just going to give you my Whovian story on what I was doing and everything in my point of view. So I started my journey at about 7:45 in the morning, so I could get to work at 8:45 in the morning, because sadly I had to go to work on Sunday. I would have loved to have gone a lot earlier, but unfortunately I had to, and I begged my boss to give me Monday off. I was ready to call in dead. I did not even know about Doctor Who LineCon until one of my friends actually let me know about it. No, I don't have the best of luck when it comes to going to New York City. In the 4 times I have gone down by myself, 4 times something has happened to me, either getting hit by a taxi, or having an ATM card not work, or getting a sprained foot because of malfunctioning escalators. This was no different. I had an ATM actually eat my card before I even started. So while I would have left earlier, I had to make a detour to get emergency money and then head to the Greyhound bus station. I get my 5:30 bus and I'm thinking, yay, I'm going to have the Wi-Fi bus with the outlets and the extra legroom, because that was the bus I reserved. No. What do? They put me on like a 1970s Adirondack Trail bus that smells like that. So the whole way down, I'm talking to this girl and explaining what Doctor Who is, and her response to what I was doing was, "You're crazy. Why in the world would you go down to New York City to sit on a sidewalk for a show?" I had to tell her, oh, no. It's not just any show. This is Doctor Who. Doctor Who makes all the difference. I get down to Port Authority, I take the shuttle over to Grand Central, and I meet up with my friend, Emma. And we take the subway down to 2nd Ave, to the Village East Cinema, where they were holding the event. The whole time before I'm going there, I was thinking to myself, yeah, we're going to be there at 8:30 at night. We're going to be the first people in line. 30 minutes into my bus trip, I already get a message saying 50 people already online. Well, my heart sank. I get to the line, and it's not really actually all that many people. We were number 33 and number 34. We get in line, we get all situated, and of course, I pull out my camera. Now, I usually shoot with a Nikon D3000, but I didn't want to risk my camera going down there this time, so instead I brought my Canon PowerShot SX120IS. Now, I'm not exactly used to the Canon, because I'm heavy-handed with my Nikon, but through these pictures that are cycling through, you can see there were some hits, there were some misses, so I worked more with my creativity than what kind of firepower I had. And all of the cosplayers there were so amazing. The most wonderful 11s and Amy's and Rory's and River Songs, and everyone was just amazing. They kept me going and kept me pumped with ideas to recreate different things, to take new kinds of pictures, and it was just amazing. One of my favorite pictures that I took, not that I'm being favoritism, because I love a lot of the pictures that I shot, but the river 11 shot that we recreated from Flesh and Stone. It was great, and a lot of people were saying that they really liked it. We were actually taking headshots of each 11, and we were going through figuring out which 11 we were eventually going to use. And it wasn't even 11, there was 10 there, Rose, Donna's. Well, but one of the best stories we had was just after we got there. And I was talking to the people at the front of the line, and all of a sudden, a woman just walks up with K9. And we're freaking out. We're going, K9! Yeah, you're here for the line, right? No? What do you mean? What line is this? Turns out Dr. Sketchy decided to have a Doctor Who night. And I was like, oh my gosh, can I please take pictures with your K9? We've got 10s in here. It'll be so great. So we got some really cool pictures with K9 and 10, and she just had us adopt her K9. So all night we had a duct tape K9. And as you can see from the pictures, he looks really awesome. My 11 Amy pictures, the very first ones, I was still experimenting with the camera, and the moment I flipped off the flash, I realized I had winners, because the way that the lighting where we were was, it just gave the whole tone that season 6 now has, that kind of like greenish kind of tone. The first one would have been a super money shot if I didn't have a J.J. Abrams lens flare. As you can tell, that's there, and it just annoyed the hell out of me every time I looked at it, because I was so excited for how we set it up and everything, and then just lens flare. But as you can tell, I made up for it by having a Amy in a Stetson with a Sonic. I even had a half light that later on I'm actually going to Photoshop this to include that like greenish flare that they have in the posters. And I actually achieved this by accident, mind you, kind of, by putting half of my finger on the flash, and it blocked off one half. And the people at the very front of the line, Tristan, Graham, and Emma, they were the coolest people. They came down from Maine, and they actually got online at 4:30. I got there at 8:30, so they were already there for 4 hours. They had the coolest lighters. They have Sonic lighters, which was so great. And people had like paper fezzes and whatnot. I found 10, and right in front of us was a scooter. This really great scooter, and we're all sitting there going, hey, we need someone with a poodle skirt so they can just go, going my way. Of course, Daddy-o. And I saw 10, and I was like, hey, does anyone have any sunglasses? So again, we took like those really cool nighttime shots with 10. He didn't want to get on top of it because he was afraid the owner would just come by and like jump him. And periodically, we would just be sitting there, and just to amuse ourselves, we'd be like, vroom, 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 ciao, vroom, 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 ciao. +1 cookie if you get the reference. But after a while, we did start getting tired. It actually got very, very cold very quickly. And those of us who came from the north to come down, we weren't exactly prepared because I live 3 hours north, so I'm thinking, it's New York City. It's gotta be warmer from where I am, so all I brought was a Snuggie. Big mistake. So periodically, we would have groups of people going out for hot tea, for coffee. I mean, if you needed coffee, somebody came and brought you coffee. And like groups of 2 or 3 of us would go scouting out to find which had the best bathrooms, which bathrooms to avoid, who has Wi-Fi, who won't brat at you for sitting in there. And we really developed a really good system. But around 1 o'clock, we started seeing a spike of people coming into the line. And they were saying, oh, the Twitter told us that there were like so many people that we might not get in. And I actually got annoyed with that. To the point I went up to the front of the line and I went to Tristan and told him, hey, I know you're doing the head count and I know you're updating Waiting for the Doctor, which is the real-time blog that he was hosting. I said, But I've got people worried that too many people are reserving spots. So I'm going to go down the line and I'm going to give you another number that's going to reflect not just people who are here, but also people who are holding spots. And this actually came to kind of backfire on me because as the night progressed, even though I wanted to get some sleep, every hour or so I would have to get up and do the count again. And people were mistaking this for me being in charge of the line. While yes, I would have loved to have been in charge of that line, that just wasn't my position. I'm used to parade audience control, or if you're a Disney kid, pack. I'm used to pack. And I could have easily tried to organize the line, but no one from BBC America or the theater really gave us a lot of information because no one was expecting us to be there the night before, and we didn't really have a lot of instruction or security. So as the night progressed, towards like dawn hours, it started getting cold enough that me and a couple of people, we went over to Dunkin' Donuts to get some coffee and go to the bathroom. And as I was going down the line, I started taking pictures of other people who were there, like the giant Who collection and like different 11s and Are You My Mummy? Like really great stuff. And then, while I'm at the back of the line, the most amazing thing happens. Matt, Karen, and Arthur come to the front of the line to give out donuts. I am still kicking myself in the head for that, because while I was doing numbers, everyone else got stuff signed and pictures taken, and I look like a major dope. And then around that time, BBC America actually started interviewing people who were on the line and different things. We started seeing the marquee start changing, and I started getting more into my natural photography feel of let's go and get some more pictures done. By this time it's starting to get warmer, so we're able to sleep a little bit better. One picture I really loved was I laid down finally and I was just about to go to sleep and my eyes bolt open because I had an idea for a picture, one that I hadn't done yet. The Raggedy Doctor from the 11th hour. So this is why I love lines. I just start walking down the line, scouting out people to find out who I'm going to choose to be my Raggedy Doctor. And finally I see this one guy and I go, "Are you the Raggedy Doctor?" He goes, "No, I just dress like this." I go, "Oh, do you mind if I turn you into the Raggedy Doctor?" And it was so hilarious. I was like, "Okay, we're going to loosen up your tie. We're going to unpop your collar buttons. We're going to unpop your sleeve buttons. And can I screw up your hair?" No. Now this is the raw picture. I will do a Photoshop of this later. Immediately after I did my Raggedy Doctor, I laid back down, and I didn't lay down for long because we got chalk. And wouldn't you know it, we started putting Bad Wolf everywhere and cracks in the universe everywhere. And towards the front of the line, where there was a turn, like where the sidewalk would turn over, a city employee started bugging us saying that we were defacing public property. And we were all thinking, it's chalk, because we're really defacing public property with chalk. So we stopped doing the drawings in front of underneath the marquee because we had a crack in the universe, Bad Wolf, and Hello Sweetie. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get pictures of those before the city worker cleaned them off. But we were all giggling, going, I hope he doesn't go down the road, because everywhere down the road was different Bad Wolves and cracks and Hello Sweetie, and it started exploding into even more things. It was on dumpsters, on cardboard boxes. At the end of the block, there was a giant crack in the universe and just references from everywhere. Fantastics and Daleks and Chibi Doctors and Duck. No, really, Duck. Sally Sparrow, Duck now. And it was amazing. We had canines, and at one point I got a little nervous because everywhere I was walking around, people were looking at me and basically going, well, who are you? I don't remember you. I couldn't understand why that was so until I found the crack of the universe on the back of my jacket. At the end of the block, everyone just gathered in front of the giant mural of Epic and started taking all kinds of pictures of doctors, of Amy's. I didn't take a lot of them because I knew everyone else was, and I didn't want to get in their way because they had better cameras with better depth, and I just wanted to keep on going. Yeah, there was a random fire truck for some reason. I don't understand what it was for. All I knew was that it was really cool because it had Godzilla on top of it. We actually had to get rid of one of our chalk drawings for the safety of everyone in our line, because someone drew, and I'm not going to show it to you, someone drew a weeping angel, and someone said, don't blink. We had to actually start smudging it out because we started getting freaked out because that which holds the image of an angel is an angel, so I'm not showing it to you. And we had, the group right behind us had some really cute signs like, I'm a traveler, but only in one direction at a fixed rate of speed. They were interviewed by BBC America. One of the girls in our line had this really great centurion hat, and it was so great, and it was really fluffy, and Arthur Duvall actually liked it a lot. Around 2:30, 3:30, they started handing out the wristbands. Now, here's how this went. They didn't tell us. It was all an element of surprise, and they wanted to try and keep it down low. The first, I think, 250 or 350 got blue wristbands. That was the wristband that got you into the theater with the cast. After that were yellow wristbands. Yellow wristbands got you into the next theater, which had the simulcast. There were so many people, they opened up a third theater. And if you got the Doctor Who, kind of ticket flyer, that got you into the third theater. There were still so many people that they did a second showing. And if you stood in the line, you could go to the 10 p.m. showing. One of the problems was, when they started handing out the wristbands, once people realized they were handing out wristbands, they rushed the women with the wristbands. And there was no security for them. There was no, hey, everyone get into a single line. They didn't warn anyone. They didn't tell anyone when the wristbands were coming out so everyone could be in an orderly fashion. So some people who were supposed to get a blue wristband, because so many people were clustered together and they all got a wristband, they were forced to have yellow. And some people really felt that it wasn't fair, and I kind of agree with them on that. When the marquee was finally done, we had people taking pictures in front of it, all of our cosplayers. One big thing that happened when I was talking to Tristan, our Rory and Scrubs, we had people coming up asking, oh, well, what are you guys standing in line for? And we were used to that because people had been asking that all night. And I said, oh, we're waiting for Doctor Who. And this guy starts going off about all kinds of different tangents, about political stuff, and gradually getting louder and louder to the point I started getting uncomfortable. Tristan, I love you so much. This man got up and defended me along with another Whovian, separated me from him, stood in front of me. Rory will always be my centurion. For more reasons now. I was able to duck inside while they actually got this guy to leave, and I thank you so, so much. Oh, so here was a really fun sequence. This isn't chalk. Someone was trying to write, this isn't going to be big on dignity, but she ran out of chalk, so she just wrote, this isn't chalk. And there was this really weird yellow line that kind of looked like a crack in the universe. And it was just all the way down the street. It was just leaking paint. So we had 110 who was so great. And he had these business cards. It was the Two of Hearts, which is a play on the Doctor's two hearts. I thought it was awesome. So he starts investigating that this isn't chalk and licked it. Well, the first time he didn't actually lick it, but I asked him to do it again, and poor guy, his tongue actually touched the sidewalk. Oh, he was just so great to just do everything for his character. And there were a lot of really great t-shirts, some of them repeated, but there were some really nice original ones, like the Exterminate t-shirt and whatnot. Finally, we got inside, and people like kind of started rushing in and whatnot, because when the cast arrived, I don't have good stuff of that. You can see like all of the clips I have of it. I'm going to talk over it because the screaming is just insane, so instead of ruining your earbuds, you can listen to me babble on more. They came in a like 1950s blue convertible, and everyone just started rushing towards the front. Again, lack of security. Now see, if I was in charge of PAC, I would have had like the one area where people could view and take pictures, but of course, I'm just one little Whovian with Disney background. I would not have done that. At the same time, I didn't want to lose my place in line. So everyone started pushing in front and trying to like kind of subtly sneak into the line, whereas us in the front were like, oh, hell no, get back where you were. So they got inside, and we got inside. At first, we were at the floor next to where the chairs were. They told us, no, you can't be down here, so we got a nice spot up top. Now, one really great thing that they did, they gave us hats. Like, awesome hats. Fitted hats, which are more expensive. And they were just really, really nice. The BBC America guys kept on getting us to chant like, Doctor Who, Doctor Who. When I say Doctor, you say Who, like that kind of stuff. So we were chanting that outside and then screaming and just doing it over and over again. I really hope they got the video of it. We're sitting in the theater and they've got us all chanting and whatnot, and the woman who was sitting in front of me suddenly starts doing the four beats of the master, well, wouldn't you know, that starts spreading like wildfire until all of a sudden you've got about 150 to 250 kids all just banging on whatever was in front of them, or clapping, or stomping their feet, going louder and faster. It was so much, because I was banging on the chair in front of me, I bruised up my thumb, and 2 days later, it's still red. And it was just so great and so spontaneous and almost frightening at the same time. And finally, we saw the 2-part season opener, and it was great. I mean, just great. That's all I could say. It was great. I mean, you had elements where people were laughing, people were crying, people were cheering mostly at Rory, and people were cheering. The River's song was kicking butt, the Doctor was brilliant, Amy was Amy. And it was all really great and really well written, and you had points where people were going, what? And how dare you? And ha ha ha, and just everything you would expect from a Doctor Who episode, and it was just so amazing. And then the whole cast came out, Matt and Karen and Arthur and Alex and Moffat and everyone, all being asked questions by Chris. They started asking questions, and people were like, oh, you should ask this and you should ask that, and I'm like, I'm thinking like pensively what kind of question to ask, and finally it just popped into my head, because at the same time I wanted to explain, like, just kind of sum up the people who were there, because people are like, oh, we waited 12 hours in line. Yeah, you waited 12 hours in line. So and I never ask questions, ever. If you're ever with me at an anime convention, I rarely ask questions. Rarely do I actually get called on when I have a question. But I raised my hand, and the guy gave me a microphone, and I waited a little bit. And at first, the host, Chris, was going to go to the left of the theater again. I was like, hey, hi, over here, other side of the theater. And I asked them, what their most what their most challenging role or project aside from Doctor Who was. But before that, I was like, before I say my question, I just want to let you know I'm here with like a group of us. We were in line for like 21 hours. We froze together. We sweated together, but it was worth it. And like everyone was like cheering and whatnot because yeah, we were that dedicated. We wanted to see this so badly that we just dropped everything and came to New York City. When I was polling the line, I saw that there were people from like Chicago, from Texas. There was people from Montreal, from Toronto, and there was even a father-daughter team from Australia who came. Matt had the strangest shoes on. Like, his pants were so high up. Matt and Arthur, the whole weekend, they were just hipstering it up. And it was great. The whole time they were answering my question, I forgot to take pictures because it sounds so weird. It almost felt like a connection because they kept eye contact with everyone. And while everyone was always kept on asking, "Oh, I'm a budding actor," or "I'm a dramatic artist," I was asking them, "Well, I want to know about you. What about you, the hardest thing for you?" And the direct eye contact and being able to have Alex Kingston look right at you while she's answering your question. I'm smiling, you can't see it, but I am still grinning because I am the luckiest fangirl in the world. I got to ask the doctor a question, and River Song told me like she loved all the gunslinging, and it was amazing. I loved it so much, and it was like that moment, everything was worth it. Having my feet like numb out from cold, having some random dude tell me about poisoned beef, sweating and freezing, and it was just all worth it in that moment in time, having the buzz from the season opener still fresh and having all of them in front of me, the people who I loved, all of the work that they had done, because you could tell if they didn't do good work, we wouldn't have been there. Having this great community, I have so many friend requests from, "Hey, it's you from the line," and just back and forth, this great Whovian community. If we didn't like it, we wouldn't have been there. And I just went on an entire rant, but it was so great. And I know a lot of people took video. And I keep on teasing everyone on my Facebook. One thing I kept on smirking about, it almost seemed like Moffat was pussyfooting around a lot of questions. And that was something that we didn't really talk about till later. And I didn't realize how many people absolutely adored Arthur Duvall because they said before, "Oh, Rory is more like the companion's companion. He's the tin dog." The girls I met would tell you otherwise. For them, Rory was everything. Arthur was everything. And I could understand after a while. I mean, yeah, you love the Doctor because he's witty and he's just going everywhere. And you love River because she's mysterious and she can kill a Dalek because that's freaking scary. And you love Amy because everyone wants to be Amy, that little girl who goes off on an amazing adventure. But you got Rory. And you realize you are so jealous of Amy because she's got the best husband in the world. I don't know why, but I took a picture of their shoes because after a while their shoes started fascinating me because there's only so many pictures of their faces that you can take until you start getting royally bored. Matt's derp face. I did not mean to get the derp face, but it just derped out. After a while, though, I did have to turn off my camera because the battery started dying. Oh, I don't know why. It was only 2 batteries in the span of 24 hours, and I was using flash and everything. Immediately after the Q&A, they weren't allowing any signing because the cast was really on a strict schedule, so they let them out, they let us out. We grabbed a taxi back to Grand Central because I didn't realize my friend was actually running late. So we grabbed a taxi, we went back, I grabbed the subway back to Port Authority, and I came home at about 2:30 11:30 in the morning. I got an 11:30 bus, and even on the way home, we were still seeing Whovians, and it was so funny because everyone knew me as, like, the girl in the green jacket with the shamrock earrings because I kept on seeing them all through the line. And they're like, "Oh, that was such a great question." I was on such a high from just talking to them and seeing that. It was just so great. And if you guys get a chance, I believe it's Easter. The first part of the season opener starts, and then the second part is the next week. Believe me, we were freaking out at the end of the first episode. I don't know how you guys are going to cope with it, because it's just going to drive you crazy. My opinion of the season opener, amazing. The best season opener yet. I mean, I saw Rose, I saw Christmas Invasion, I saw Partners in Crime, Smith and Jones, 11th Hour. The Impossible Astronaut lets you know that there is something deeper, something so complex, and a lot of stuff is going to start going down, and things that we had been asking questions about for years are finally going to start being answered. But at the same time, you think your questions are going to be answered. While you get one answer, you get 15 more questions. If anyone talks to Moffat, or if Moffat is listening, God damn it! I cannot go anywhere now without freaking out. I can't look at anything the same way again without freaking out. And that's what's gonna happen. This opener is gonna stick with you for so long that you're gonna second guess everything in your natural life. And it's all Moffat's fault. First, he freaked us out about angel statues. Now he's gonna freak us out about everything else under the sun. So way to go. Thanks, Moffat, so much. One thing I can say though, the one preview they had with like Nixon talking on the phone, that actual scene is not in the series. It's just a nice supplement to the series, and it does help. I did have to giggle though when he said, "Little girl, there are no monsters in the White House." I don't think he was talking about himself in that. So this is my wrap up. I'm still working on tweaking some pictures, and that's pretty much it. Comments where you can comment it, and links to your pictures. One thing I do ask, until they actually screen the season opener, no spoilers, please. Moffat swore us to secrecy. You may tease, you may torture, but do not tell. And believe me, you don't want to know. You don't want anyone spoiling this for you. It would be like Snape kills Dumbledore. It's 5 times, no, 50 times that level of intensity. So that is my wrap up. Alonzi, Geronimo, fantastic. See you around the universe. TTFN. Ta-ta for now. Wow, how many series did I just do copyright infringement on? Artsy Image out.